It's not going to be an easy act to follow, but we step into Iron League with Kotte versus Dukit.
Yep, and I know you're going to get right into the picks and bans. I'll just preemptively say that much like one of our previous matches, Dukit has banned nothing but Aquarium and Tan. Exact same thing as Ascend Beyond. Ban the crazy venues, play on the quote-unquote normal ones. So it'll be interesting to see if they follow that up. Well,
we do. Banning Aquarium is where we start with Dukit. Kotte bans out Veranda 5 of 8.
There we go. May not have he had to, though. Kotte has banned Aquarium quite a bit, too, but not fooling around.
Not fooling around. Dukit picks up Ballroom, which is always fun to watch. Kotte picks up Modern 5 of 8. And then we go to the 3 of 5s as Dukit picks up High Rise and Kotte picks up Terrace.
All right, so we're going to go from Ballroom at the end of the last match to Ballroom at the start of this one. And this is the last match of the season for both players. It's basically the finals in Iron. It's who's going to sit on the Iron Throne. Kotte needs a win or a draw, but Dukit needs to win outright because Kotte has a 1-point lead going into this.
Oh, man. This is going to be a very interesting game. The one that decides Iron. Kotte opening things up on the spy side of Ballroom. Dukit on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Kotte and I were on the same team in the crew battle, actually, yesterday. A little impromptu sort of crew battle tournament that we had. Fine teammate, was our captain, and stole the show. MVP of our team, winning 7 straight to start.
And now opening things up in this match against Dukit with 33% on the flirt.
That's not a great number, but hey, floating points can be our friend, and we're probably going to move at some point, I assume, so it might not matter.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Well, doesn't look like he's too keen on moving early, so gonna go for the timer flirt off the first one, which is fine, as long as you don't hang around after that.
Yeah, it's not bad. You get a little flirt in, especially if the first one's green. You want to see if you can finish it right away, see if the ST does the work for you, as they're sort of doing here. And against certain snipers, you'll get credit for that early idle, maybe.
Indeed, Seduction Target steps away before the cooldown expires, so we just head out to the statues to start picking up some inspects. Look at the ambassador shifting over like that to give us an opportunity at something.
As if to say,
and we take it. There's the bug coming off. It was a little bit exposed from the back as the ambassador started moving early, and it looks like it's been seen. Dukit on top of things, takes the shot, goes up 1-0.
Right in the ponytail. Always fatal. Yeah, that was basically the ambassador equivalent of Toby with the purloin. He was coming up to it and saying, "Would you like to do this mission?" The bug comes to you. Kotte cannot resist and cannot live.
Yeah. If he left a split second earlier, it would have been fine, but Ambassador with his personal space violations, he invaded his own personal space with us.
Got right up in our face and then said, "Why are you standing so close?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a very strange person, the Ambassador. Don't try to analyze them or their magical briefcase.
Either way, Dukit up 1-0 from the sniper side of things. Now on the spy, Kotte on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I guess you could make a habit of shooting each character in their most distinctive attribute. So you shoot Ponytail in the ponytail. I guess you shoot this person right in the tie clip, right, Bling?
Right, or the earring.
Or the earring, or the ring, if you can aim it. Any of the distinctive features, any of the defining features of the character. That's where you have to shoot now. That's the new meta. I declare it to be so. Make it happen, snipers.
General gets shot in either the hat or the medals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Taft gets shot anywhere in the stomach because that's why he's the ambassador. And Smallman gets shot literally anywhere because do not fool around trying to shoot Smallman. Don't get cute. Just shoot him.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Where do you shoot Plankton, Twat is asking. You don't. There's no defining...
In the shoe.
Shoot Bling Twin instead, maybe, yeah. The shoes are pretty dandy. I like the shoes. They're very cool.
Rocker gets shot in the arms.
Seek, I would say the rose. I know everyone wants to say turban, but I would say rose. The little lapel rose.
Normally you'd shoot queen in the purse, but you can't because it's bulletproof.
Yep, you can't do that, so it's got to be the hat. It's got to be the hat.
Anyways, we've got a highlight at 31%
I mean,
on the flirt. By the
surprisingly
way,
little has been going on. This is why we're talking character shot locations. We just have a third of a flirt and one boring inspect so far.
well, 2 inspects now as we step away, heading towards the double agent, it looks like. Indeed, it is. We are now in the conversation with him. With her, rather. It's a great time for it. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't just hit it. Only one person out of conversation. 2, sorry. Oh, Ambassador steps in behind us in range for a standing bug from between the conversations.
The cross conversation bug is so rare, but it is, in my opinion, cooler and more powerful than even the through somebody else bug.
It is probably the single most powerful type of bug in the game.
I think so. It's because it's so circumstantial. You actually really can't reliably plan it very well. Things have to line up just right. Maybe they have to be on the edge of the conversation, and so do you. All that stuff, it depends. But it works. One of the more popular locations for it, though, is when you're in the back conversation and the ambassador is at statues. You don't see this one even as often as that one, and that one's pretty rare.
Able to pick up the second flirt from the painting up to 65%, which is one off of being able to 3 flirt on white.
Don't panic yet. Just get your panic button ready, is all I'm going to say. Shine it up good.
Well, back in the statues we go to finish up the inspect. And we're not going to have a chance to get to 99% on the flirt because we're dead.
I mean, that's either a super aggressive shot or they actually caught that freaking bug, and they were not zoomed in on it, if I recall correctly. So that might have just been an exceptionally good bug catch.
It may have been. In either way, it's impressive, and Kotte keeps things tied at 1.
One thing that might be significant is when you look in the log, they were marked highlight, then back down 10 seconds later, then back up 25 seconds after that. I don't remember who it was, but someone said if you find yourself changing the lights on someone over and over again, it's usually the spy.
Yeah. Interesting. That is an interesting little piece of insight. Mm-hmm. Let's see if anyone else is able to make use of it throughout the rest of this game as Kotte steps back into the spy side of things in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think the logic is that the spy is obviously going to be doing suspicious things, but they're going to be trying to counteract them by losing heat in various ways, whereas AIs don't really care about whether or not their actions create a narrative or undermine a narrative.
Indeed.
But it's an interesting thought that I heard from an old-time player at one time, and I thought it was a very interesting way of looking at it, and you wonder if that was part of it there. Plus, if they're highlighting and lowlighting you a lot, they're looking at you a lot.
Kotte looking to start off with the seduce, but after a couple of bumps, the selection target turns around and goes the other way, leaves Kotte high and dry. No progress yet.
And I guess if you were going to shoot green dress, it would just be in the green, so pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, where do you shoot green dress?
I mean, I guess the red hair is pretty prominent, but it's just anywhere in the green. I think where you shoot her is at bookshelves where she's probably microfilming.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Usually. Or a walking bug, because she's known for those too.
Still no progress. Under 2.5 minutes.
Very interesting there, yeah. And Kotte started the other game a little slow too. Certainly. And I don't see any particular reason to do this. Dukit's civilian shot rate is lower than the iron average, which is actually fairly low to begin with. So if you're banking on a civ shot, I wouldn't.
Well, gets a fingerprint off of the blue bookcase. 2 minutes to play. Time is running very low. We don't do anything else with the book. Just set it away.
Well, we were just there for the fingerprint, not trying to complete microfilm, apparently.
33% on the first flirt. This is a difficult situation.
I don't think the party's really giving us much either. The ambassador hasn't moved in a while, and you can see the double agent is in with only 2 other people.
Well, one of them's a seduction target now, so we might be able to make some use of that, although we stand as far away from the seduction target as possible. Contact does come off.
Ooh, knocks out 2 highlights. That's rough. But the fact that you can get two mission progress bits here in one conversation, that is the kind of thing you need when you're running low on time. That's the kind of thing you need from the party in order to actually get to the mission win countdown. So, Kotte, little bit of daylight here based on that.
Green test on the second flirt brings us up to 72%. Stepping away now. Looks like we're heading off to the statues in the back. It's going to be center statues because we don't have time for anything else.
Yeah, and not going to take a bug in the way. And it looked pretty obvious that they weren't bugging too. Sometimes just being there, it can look like a bug to the sniper, but the Dukit had a pretty good angle and probably feels pretty confident it wasn't.
Here's the inspect done. There's the statue being put away. There's the bug attempt on the way out, but it doesn't take, and it gets caught out. Dukit on top of things, making it happen in the third game. It's 2-1.
Yeah, Dukit just seems totally in control of that game just the whole way. I think the party was pretty docile to begin with, but I like that they were not at all suspicious of the bug not taken, and they immediately caught the one that was. That is a person who knows their bugs, and it pays off here.
Indeed. And now Dukit steps into the spy side. It's been all snipers so far. Let's see if that trend will continue in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Dukit has won 75% of their spy ballroom games coming into this. That's pretty darn high, y'all.
That is pretty darn high. You're not wrong.
And I should note, Dukit swaps an insane almost 41% of the games where swap is turned on.
Transfer at the green bookcase doesn't get seen, I don't think. Maybe it does. There's the highlight coming off. This is already bad.
Yeah, that's a lot of suspicion for half of a mission already. They microfilm a lot too, though. 27% of the games where it's active. Frankly, they just do a ton of hardtails from the looks of things. The more I'm looking at these numbers, they do a lot of these hardtails more than they seduce, even.
Well, speaking of seduce, we've got half a one done. Green test, nice and close for 51%. Also in conversation with Double Agent. Double Agent steps away, so we're not able to make anything of that. Selection target's gone too.
Yeah, they do contact at the highest rate, but it's incredibly rare for that not to be the case. But the mission spread beyond that is kind of bizarre, actually. You have Purloin, Inspect, Bug, Swap, and Seduce all between 30 and 45%.
No bug on the way in. Why no bug on the way in?
Well, they bug in less than a third of their games, which is actually a little on the low side, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well, fingerprint on the way into blue bookcase actually pulls out the blue book instead of going for the transfer where it was, which is probably wise. Second flirt comes off, brings it up to 76%. But we're a little bit low on progress. Just over a minute and a half to play and no completions yet.
Yeah, they might not finish flirt much, but they sure seem determined to do it this game.
In conversation with the Double Agent, but look at how sparse the conversations are.
It's not a good time at all.
Yeah. Contact right now would be suicidal. I think it was just a delay tactic, heading back into blue bookcases now. Here comes the transfer. It's another white test, and it was being stared down. Kotte reacts before the head turn even happens, and it's 2-all.
Yeah, just a suspect from the get-go, stared at the whole rest of the time, and you're probably not even going to get by with a green then, never mind a white. That game was over. It wasn't as over as quickly as that earlier gallery game we cast, but it wasn't too much better.
So, it's 2-2 coming out of Ballroom. And now we're stepping into Modern. Kotte on the Spy to open things up. Dukit on the Sniper. And this is a very, very large map. So you don't want to be playing characters that are too slow. Luckily, Kotte is not. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep, and this is a very sensible pick for Kotte. They are 6 for 6 on Modern this season. Have not lost Spy or Sniper. And, well, hopefully we're about to see why.
5 of 8 map, lots of time on it, but huge walking distances.
Yeah, so pacing matters more than usual. And as you mentioned, character speed matters a bit too.
Well, opening things up at the green bookcase with the seduction target and is able to pick up a green test for 51%, so that's a nice little start. Puts the book away innocently afterwards, but we got what we came for.
Yeah, but we've already been to green bookshelves, and as I often say, that is the easiest to get away with microfilm from, generally speaking. So kind of feels like Coddy's not really thinking microfilm this game then, because that would be a
Steps
pretty decent opportunity.
steps back into conversation with the seduction target, but not close enough for the two flirt, which sucks because he hit the green for 84%. That could have been done.
Well, they're going to get it done. They've finished seducing almost 80% of their games. By the way, they have yet to microfilm this season, too. So maybe that's why they didn't do it.
Maybe.
In fact, their mission rates are insane. They complete contact over 90% of the time. They bug almost 74% of the time. I'll have to check, but that might be the highest rate in SCL. It's definitely up there.
Picking up a drink and picking up a delegate. Unfortunately, seduction target runs to the bar right as we approach.
Purloin, a pretty viable option here, and done about a third of the time by Coddy. But yeah, watch for that bug. Don't worry about the microfilm. It's going to be seduce, contact, probably bug, inspect Purloin.
Well, we're going to be finishing up the seduce at windows here. It's a white test, but it still gets the job done.
You don't get to a 79% seduce rate without a little effort. Coddy making it a priority. That is a long delay on that sip. That is a hard tell.
Yeah, and gets highlight for it. It might just be a statue highlight, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, it was a hard tell depending on exactly when this game was played. I think this is actually a more recent game, right? This is post-patch? That's right, it was today, so that would have been a hard tell just a couple of days ago.
Either way, gets a pair of inspects.
The day of the patch, I almost shot someone in a casual game for that, and then I briefly remembered, oh wait, no, not anymore.
Here's another delegate from the bar. Now we're stepping over to chat with the double agent. Not a bad time for it either. Double agent, though, leaves us, and then we were sad. Here's a delegate, though. That's not nothing.
Double agent says, I'm just going out to the store, and then they never come back.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Sad spy stories.
Well, bug on the way into conversation. Yeah, I'm spooked, Trek. I'm real spooked. There's the Purloin coming off as well.
I love it. 2 back-to-back timeline events, Bug and Purloin, just like we were discussing.
Here's the contact coming off as well. I think this has been clean.
It sure feels like it. It sure feels like it. There just has not been much of a reaction here. Second statue visit, though, would still be dangerous. It always is.
2 lowlights off of the contact. Now second statue visit to finish things up. 30 seconds to play. The shot, it does get taken. What looked like such a good spy game from Coddy is not enough. Dukit finds him out, and it's 3-2.
That second statue visit is the Crucible, just like BB is the Crucible. So often, you don't actually know how much of a suspect they are until that happens. Same thing with the completion of the inspects. And by the way, that mission setup there, that was exactly the mission setup I just described. Those are their 5 favorite missions in that order. And I don't know if Dukit knows it or not, but they take the correct shot.
Yeah, it's all coming up snipers so far. Let's see if Dukit is able to buck the trend, or if Coddy's keeping pace in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It's really crazy, just the difference in these 2 spies. Coddy with such strong mission tendencies, but apparently getting away with a lot of them. And Dukit, just such a broad range. Lowest completion rate is fingerprint at 12%. Everything else is over a quarter of the time. They have a huge, even mission spread. KCM-esque, I would say.
Dukit now Stepping into conversation with the seduction target to get his first bit of progress. It's a white test for 34%.
34%, almost exactly the rate at which they complete Seduce, just a little bit higher than that. It is very unusual to see someone this successful with a Seduce completion rate that low. It just shows that they're really good at getting away with almost everything else.
Relatively slow start from Duckett, but he's got a real fast character.
Yeah, don't let the size fool you. Deceptively quick, Taft is.
Looked like he was gunning for Double Agent there, but Double Agent bails, so path adjustment takes him to the bar, and looks like we're highlighting to keep track of the bar visitors. So don't expect this to last too long.
Yep, and that's always part of the question is, how well do you monitor those highlights? When do you bump them back down? Do you wait the full minute, or do you wait till about 45 seconds, and if they haven't delegated yet, then maybe you go? Depends sometimes on how busy the party is, and every now and then there can be a little opening during that activity between those two areas.
Second flirt comes off. It's a white test to bring us up to 64%, so we're gonna have to hit a green on the third one. No argument there.
Sometimes I wonder, when people have low seduce rates like that, is it because they prefer other missions, or is it because they lack ATs?
2.5 minutes to play.
Delegate
Not
to
a
Pony
whole
Tail.
lot of progress.
Well, that delegate did come off, though, and it's about to take place.
That's true. There it goes. Purloin has now been taken, and we're starting to get some lowlights.
Yeah, we're getting the benefit of those highlights now. Now it's going to be narrowed down if you've done your job correctly. Kotte feels like they have. They haven't narrowed it down as much as you'd like, though.
Can't hit the green on the third flirt. It's 95%.
Well, now that seduction number's making more and more sense to me. This is looking like an AT issue.
Double Agent joins conversation. It's not a terrible time for it. Lots of lowlights. Lots and lots and lots and lots of lowlights.
Okay, so this is about par for the course in the end, actually, now that they've taken all of them. You know, you've got it down to 4 people. That's not bad for Purloin, and we know it's not bad because it's not one of their final missions. If it were, that'd be a little tougher. But at this point, Duckett's gotten very little else done. The real question is one of these other highlights going to do something?
Banana bread.
Here's the contact.
2 of the 3 highlights are in with an SDA.
Oh, the shot comes off, but it's not the right one. And Duckett finds a spy win out of this.
It was the person they delegated to. Simple as that. They just decided a direct Purloin was more likely, and even though they were not close to finishing, the BB does happen, again, with 2 other bar visitors in conversation with an SDA. They only knocked out 1, and that is the difference.
Yeah. That's all it is. We've got Duckett with a lead all of a sudden. It's 4-2 on the scoreline. Kotte now looking to strike back from the spy side of things. Duckett on the sniper again. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And that's a big one. Break serve there. It's not the mission win, but it is a spy win, and you'll take it. What I always find interesting is that when someone doubles Modern, what they do for the second game. You can have your game plan. You have to have a lot in mind. You have to plan things out well that first game. But in the second game, they've seen all the tricks you threw at them in the first game. So do you do it again? Do you mix it up? Do you play against type? It's a bigger question than it is on most other doubled venues, I think.
Very early delegate pickup into a flirt. At a distance, though, so it's a green test for 36%.
Yeah, and the seduction target goes to windows, which on Modern is brutal because by the time you get there, they're going to be gone. So you actually just have to wait and see where they go next.
We are in conversation at the Double Agent, though, and it's not a bad time for it. Lots of activity and conversations.
It could cover for a delegate, too, if you wanted to bail.
But at this point, we'd only be delegating to the Double Agent herself. There's the contact coming off.
Good time. Only about 4 possible lowlights. Let's see how many they actually get. I see 2, 3.
3 now.
Alice, I think. Ponytail would be the last one. Doesn't get that one. Gee, that's really good.
Yeah, that was a very strong contact for this map. Do get Highlight.
Maybe just for talking during it. That might be all. It's just such a counterintuitive time to do it if that's the real conversation, though. You're the only one in there with a double agent. So depending on how mind gamey you want to get, most of the time if you're a sniper, you see that and you think, I doubt that's them.
Yeah, that was weird. But the highlight is there. Not able to get the flirt we were going for either.
You could probably chase here without too much suspicion, and I think you're going to have to because you've only got the one in so far.
Yeah, indeed. And we're only 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play. We don't have a whole lot of progress yet.
There's about to be a difficult fingerprint at bar if Kotte's interested. They are not.
Well, it doesn't look like he is. He's heading off to statues instead. Pair of inspects. That's about all we're going to get from this.
And I would not rule out an inspect swap. It's an unusual mission for Kotte, but again, second modern game. I think that's when spies tend to mix it up if they're going to.
And low on time as well. 2 minutes to play and just now looking to pick up our second flirt.
Yeah,
there it is. It's another green test. This one brings us up to 87%.
Yeah, inspect swap is often the Hail Mary of the poorly paced spy.
Minute and 45 now. Still just the one mission completion, but a lot of progress besides. No fingerprints yet, and stepping back into statues early.
I'm just going to get this done quick. Don't want to be going late in the game for the inspect, I guess, is part of the idea here. As I mentioned often, it's a shot prompt, it's a crucible, it's a big moment of truth time. So we're going to get that done early and try to finish otherwise.
No inspect swap. It's not a great map for inspect swaps. Max distant flirt. Well, it's enough. Even on a white test, it's enough. That's the flirt done. Another delegate gets picked up. 45 seconds to play. 2 missions still needed. Bug is available. Swap is available. Purloin is available.
Yeah, so the delegate purloin is really interesting because it lets you finish when you look like you can't, because you can combine that long pending with something else. So we're still in decent position here, but it's got to be something like a bug, and we are in good position for it. We're going to break idle to sit, but it's not a big deal, hopefully. The gulp might be, though.
There's the bug! There's the shot! Went for the delegate as well, but it's not going to happen. Dukit is on top of things. And it's 5-2.
I have no problem with the decision. I have a problem with the execution and the actual execution it resulted in. I think you want to go around the outside of that conversation. You want to combine it even with a fake or something like that. And you don't want to gulp while breaking idle. You're already a big suspect at that point. I don't know if it matters, but it would at least maximize your chances. I do think the purloin into bug would be the way to go, potentially.
I think so, but what's done is done, and Dukit is on the spy side looking for match point. Kotte is on the sniper side looking for a comeback. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this match felt so close and tight after the first few games, but it's starting to slip away. And I mentioned Kotte was perfect on Modern heading into this. Not anymore. Just like Ascend Beyond on Courtyard and Ballroom, past results do not guarantee future behavior.
Not anymore. Why did we just the briefcase? We are basically dead now. We almost just got shot for that.
You cannot do that. Kotte knows you cannot do that. And now the phrase you cannot do that refers to Dukit winning this game.
Yeah, you can't.
When I think of the number of things that an AI would have to do now to get shot instead of Dukit, I just can't count that high.
Dukit, you can't.
You can't. It might have been a misclick. I'm not really sure. It might have been cheesy. It might have been, hey, I'm just going to get this done real quick, and if they're not paying attention in the chaos that is Modern sometimes, I'm just going to get away with a free fingerprint, and then the second one will feel like the first, and then I win. Yay. But,
oh, God, and Manatters is noting that the ambassador actually talked to us while we were holding the briefcase. This is just a bad situation.
I assume what the ambassador was saying was, I really don't think you're allowed to pick that up.
Yeah,
I think that's fine, sir. I think
that's the conversation that was
yes.
happening.
It was more of a. It was very angry. It was, what are you doing picking up my briefcase? I'm still here.
Yeah. Well,
So, since we don't have anything to say about this game, I'll just reiterate that one thing I like about Briefcase, I know it's mysterious to a lot of new players, but think about the way Briefcase works as if it were in a real social situation. If someone like an ambassador put down their briefcase but was still standing near it, you wouldn't go pick it up and hand it to them because they're still near it. If they walked away, you would then become convinced they'd forgotten it, so you
yeah.
might bring it to them. The rules are basically the same here.
Dukit finally put us out of our misery by contacting the double agent.
Yeah, and by our misery, you mean you and me trying to come up with things to say about that game, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so good catch by Kotte. Maybe it was cheeky, maybe it was a misclick. Either way, Kotte stopped that before it started and gets a much-needed win to stay in this match.
Yeah. The summary of that game is, Dukit, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
You can't do that. And now we are stepping into the 3 of 5. So this is where our jobs get real hard.
Yeah. Let's just get on with it, and we can talk about how hard it is while it's going, at least.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's High Rise in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I love what this mode is while playing. I love the strategy behind it. I love the micro behind it. I love all that stuff. I just don't like talking about it that much. Because I like talking, but I don't have much to say. And when I don't have much to say about something I need to say something about, I have to make things up. Like right now, you'll notice this sentence has gone on quite a while now, but I haven't really said very much. That is by design. It's because literally nothing has happened in this game, and I was pretty certain nothing was going to happen.
Well, we went to a window.
We did.
Our watch. Nothing happened, but we did those things.
The spy.
Now we're actually setting up for a seduction here. It's a white test for 34%, but you've got so much time that finishing seduction is not really a concern.
I mean, so the spy really is just showing you what we're doing during some of these games sometimes. They're just like looking at their watch, walking around. I mean, they're just reenacting what I look like during your average beginning of a high-rise game. And I will note, it's just the beginning.
Oh, no! The double agent steps away right as the contact starts. No.
Well, that's eventful at least. And now they're in huge, huge trouble. So what's worse than a game where the spy is dead from the beginning? It's a high-rise game where the spy is dead from the beginning. Those are the two different things that are hard to cast, and they have now both happened simultaneously. I was going to say, though, that while the beginning of high-rise games are very, very boring often, unless there's like a crash bug or something like that, the ends are usually very interesting because all the evidence that you have accumulated or not accumulated all comes to a head, and the sniper has to make a split-second decision, and that's where the beauty comes in. That's where it's really remarkable.
Double agent just stole it from us, you jerk.
Yes, yeah, we're not going to get any of that now. Instead, yeah. And you see it's narrowed down,
second contact.
Banana bread.
There it goes. Second contact.
But you can see 2 of the 3 highlights are still in conversation, though. So this actually is not too bad. It's almost like a delegated purloin on Terrace or something, where you're basically saying, I'm okay knowing that I'm one of 2, maybe 3 people tops. On High Rise, you really only need one other anyway. So it's not always a big deal to have a handful of people knocked out. If you have a few that are still in, the odds that one of them are going to do something are still moderately high. So it's not as bad as it looks. I'll say that.
Yeah, this is very true. Now we've got a game now, and Alice actually just takes a bullet.
Yep. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. She's zipping around. I think she might have been done with fingerprints. You really only need one, and then the sniper has to make that ridiculous decision of, do I shoot the first finisher or not, based on subtle things. Sometimes it works for you.
She had an incredibly AI-like path, though.
Well,
so
she was
I'm
very
a little
aggressive.
Bit surprised.
It did look like flirt rushing a little bit, but it's in the eye of the sniper. It really is. Which things are AI-like and which things are spy-like sometimes.
No, well, like what I mean is she was coming up one side of the conversation, and Pearls stops in the conversation, and Alice immediately does a 180, walks around the other side of the conversation, and lands in the same conversation she was going to anyways.
It's a tough thing to mimic for sure. It would have been a very good move if the spy had done it. The funny thing is, though, if you're tunneling on someone, you see that and you go, they're trying to lose heat, eh? And you just confirmation your bias your way into a shot one way or the other.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But you're right. Excellent path. Yeah.
On to the next one. Dukit on the spy, Kotte on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And hopefully this one A little more dramatic, even though that one did result in a spy win. Kind of quick, actually.
Yeah, happened faster than you'd usually expect it to. Duckett opening things up at green bookcase. Keep in mind, no transfer microfilm, no swap, no purloin. Those missions are disabled.
Yeah, just as they were in the previous game, both players going with what you would probably call the standard high-rise setup.
That
All
being
soft tells
bug,
and bug.
contact, inspect, flirt, and fingerprint.
Yeah, and
So-
it makes more sense here than it does on Pub. Pub is a 3-5-2, but Bug is so much harder to get by the sniper with that viewing angle. But on High Rise, there are some opportunities, especially late if you're desperate.
Getting a pair of inspects off of the left side statues, and a highlight for our troubles as well.
And I know we say you don't have trouble getting flirt done on High Rise, but yeah, you better go get some flirt done on High Rise.
Yeah, we're doing that. We're going to flirt. Don't worry. Still two
Yeah.
and a half missions to play as you pick up the first one, a white test for 34%.
Probably still fine, but this is a lower flirt percentage than you would tend to have at this point in the game, even if you were not trying that hard to get flirt done.
He states facts.
Yes, but I mentioned Duckett, low seduce target rate. The ATs, I think, they don't usually matter here, but if you put off flirt a little bit, they might matter late.
Two minutes to play. Current mission progress is 1 flirt and 2 inspects.
Yep, we're doing kind of the classic high-rise thing, which is I want to leave myself a few ways to finish, but I don't want to commit to it yet. I want to see what the AIs do. I want to see what the sniper does.
In conversation for the second flirt, bit of a distance here, so we're going to need a green test either here or on the next one.
Let's hope it's here. Duckett, again, has had trouble hitting those greens.
It is here. 78% is where we're sitting now.
And that helps a lot. That gives you a lot of relief. You really want it to be this one, too. You don't want the game to hinge on it late.
Indeed. Especially with 1:15 left to play and no mission completions.
Yeah, no mission completions, but partial across 2 missions already. Just really need to nail that banana bread. Needs to be a good one.
Indeed. Under a minute now.
And I don't think AIs are really completing much. I don't think they've gotten many fingerprints or inspects for that matter. So it's all the more imperative that Duckett keep as many suspects in as possible. But the D agent...
The shot comes off! It's the twin at the bookcase!
I'm scrubbing through the timeline here to see if there's a suspected bug or something. Maybe a second print, but I didn't see one. Wow. Yeah,
Well,
I don't see it.
There was a print on at the green bookcase, but
I guess that was it.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons you keep your options open. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And now we step in to Terrace, which is an unusual map in and of itself. A very small venue. We've got Bar Toby going on. Let's see how this one goes in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Both players have really good records on Terrace so far this season. But the one who actually picked it was Kotte. Their last pick did not work out so well, despite having a strong history on it already. But they need it here. Again, Kotte needs a draw to win Iron. Duckett needs the win outright.
So what you're telling me is if Kotte wins both of these next 2 games, Kotte wins Iron League. Otherwise, yes. Duckett does.
That's right. Duckett is 1 shot away from winning Iron.
Oh boy, everything on the line. Kotte opens things up with 47% on the flirt and steps back in again. At a bit of a distance once more. Next flirt is white for 71%. Still in plenty of range. In conversation with the double agent as well, but on this map, the sniper knows exactly who the double agent is, which means we want to be in conversation with a lot of people for it.
That's right. Makes a big difference. Sometimes you can justify a fake and a real to try to maximize that pool too. And inspect, by the way, rather than purloin or fingerprint is the soft tail turned off here.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off. Not a single low light. Well, okay, now we're making some decisions.
Yeah, not a single totally reliable low light, we'll say.
Yeah.
But
Not
some
a single
inferences.
hard low light.
That's right.
Back in the conversation again with the suspected double agent. This should be plenty of room for a white test. It looks a bit scary, but it is a white test and it is a mission completion. That's 2 down, 1 to go.
Again, Kotte's bug rate crazy, crazy high. Purloin a little more viable here than most other places. Maybe they'll go for a 50-50 or something like that. There's 90 seconds left. It might work. They might not be watching, but it feels like bug, especially because the ambassador is actually in kind of a buggable position.
It's bug, purloin, or fingerprint. We have no progress on the fingerprint yet with 1:20 to play, so it's probably going to be either purloin or bug. And now the ambassador is starting to run a little bit low on cover.
Yeah, now it's suddenly a very, very bad time. It wasn't great to begin with, but it was decent at least. You really want them in the conversation you're already in instead of, say, white dress or ponytail. That would be the most buggable position where you're just crediting the path.
1 minute now. Here we go. Here comes the bug. There it goes. It was visible. The arm swing on the end of it, but it doesn't look like Dukit was paying too much attention. Ladies and gentlemen, Kotte is 1 game away from the Iron Championship.
You could tell they wanted to bug. They were waiting for an opportunity. It never came. And with about 50 seconds left, they said, well, this is as good as it's going to get. It's just going to have to be a really good bug. It is visible, but it is a good bug. It absolutely is. And in that sense, it was so exposed that it might have actually been watched less as a result because it was such a risky time to take the bug. But they did it. They got away with it. And now 1 game for Iron. It is decided on Terrace.
If Kotte wins this from the sniper side, Kotte wins Terrace. If Dukit wins this from the spy side, Dukit wins Terrace. And whoever wins Terrace wins Iron in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We like to say that when they're tied 5-5 heading into the end of the match, every win is a point. Now, every win is Iron. It is the Iron division with every win because there's only 1 left.
Oh, man. Here we go. Dukit playing as Papa Danger, the most dangerous bug in the game on his cane side. Let's see if that comes into play.
I don't have nearly as strong an opinion as I did last game, thinking Kotte would bug because, as I mentioned earlier, Dukit with a really wide mission spread. But Terrace is going to winnow that down for you. Whatever you might normally do, however flexible you might normally be.
Oh, God, the pathing!
Yep, Terrace will test that. Missions are not as viable sometimes on Terrace, or they're more viable depending on the mission. And yeah, that pathing was a little rough, but it was mostly behind that full conversation, and it wasn't too bad, thankfully. No big 360s or anything, just some bouncing.
Dukit knew it as well. It wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. In conversation with the seduction target and the double agent now. It's a green test for 46% to start things off. But time can be an issue on this map.
Yeah, Flirt tends to be a little harder here than on High Rise, I would say. Not by a lot. With the extra 30 seconds, it's pretty viable. It's just not quite as easy as on High Rise.
There's not a great contact for hard lowlights available. It might be hard to get green dress because she was just entering conversation as it went off.
We're only going to take 2, but the bigger thing is that, yeah, look at those highlights. Those are the reels, plus a couple extras, actually. I think Teal and Green dress need to get knocked back down. I think there are only 3 reels.
Yeah, that was not the contact you're looking for. Maybe if you fake later in the game, that could be good. Second Flirt comes off. White test brings it up to 77. Ambassador comes to say hi. This is like half of the party highlight right now.
You could walk out and bug Kane side maybe, but Kotte looks really worried about it. By the way, one of those lowlights just picked up a potential fingerprint at bar too. That could be a bad one to have let off.
Banana bread.
Fake contact comes off after the fact, lets off 1 more hard lowlight.
Yeah, but more people could have done a reel now. We're one of a real group now of people who could have done a reel.
That's definitely worth it.
Given how bad it was, I think so. I think this maximizes your chances, especially given that you only gave up one more low light in this case, and it was for a statue visitor.
But we're under a minute. The seduction target has bailed on us. 50 seconds to play and 2 missions to get. What are they going to be? The ambassador has entered conversation with us.
But it's not a bugwell position. We got 40 seconds to decide iron. There's the lean. There's the lean. Does Kotte see it? Does Kotte see it? He doesn't. One more flirt. He would have shot by now. It's got to be a flirt.
Oh my god.
I don't think he can get shot for this.
Could this be it? Dukit with 1 flirt to win the division.
Oh, ST bails.
Oh my god.
You got to flirt at statues. That's so risky.
20 seconds.
They're going to give him a chance to try to finish. Maybe if they 1 cycle.
He's going to par.
2 cycle. It's a 2 cycle. They're going to give up on the flirt. I can't believe they're going to give up on the flirt.
10 seconds. It's going to be overtime.
Go flirt. You can still flirt. Direct purloin. Direct purloin.
He sees the purloin. The shot comes off. And Kotte with the comeback gets it done in iron.
Kotte wins iron in the most improbable fashion. Dukit gets away with the bug. By all accounts, gets away with the bug. Could have chased the statues. Maybe could have chased and flirted at windows, overtime, something. But decides, no, I'm not going to risk it. It would have been risky either way, but a direct purloin is so much potentially riskier, I think, there. Oh, my goodness.
The division in the palm of his hand and could not bring himself to chase the statue, even though Inspect was off.
He had the division in the pommel of his cane and just lost it to Kotte at the end. What a finish for iron.
Oh my god, you can't write a better finish than that.
Well, you said after that first match, how are we going to top that? I think we did.
I think we did, Track.
Now